Advent is a time marked by waiting. We wait for God to make all things right, for justice to be meted out, for world leaders to make the right decisions, for wrongs to be righted, for our communities to be safe spaces for the vulnerable, for our earth to heal. We wait for our lives to get easier, for us to have the financial security we need, for our relationships to be restored, for our bodies to ache less. We wait for our parents to understand us and our families to feel whole. We wait for our kids and our grandkids to be healed or come back home. We wait for the grief to end. But the waiting of Advent is marked by hope. We wait with expectancy, with anticipation for the inbreaking of God to make all things new. And yet, hope can feel like a drug that must be carefully administered. Too much, and we're setting ourselves up for disappointment or disillusionment. Too little, and we're freighted with despair. As we sit amidst our shattered dreams of what was not possible or what came undone, of what we have lost or of what was never healed, it is difficult to know what hope is supposed to look like now. What are we hoping for exactly? How do we find real hope in the midst of all of our disappointment? How do we stay awake to the kind of possibility Advent asks for us? Especially when we no longer have the privilege of childish dreams of sugar plums and gumdrops. We have been awakened to the reality of pain and suffering. We no longer crave niceties or easy promises. We want the really real. We need true hope. Of course, there will come a day when we don't need to hope. Like the psalmist describes, a future will come where we will run and not grow weary, walk and not be faint. The long arc of God's love will redeem and remake the whole world and us in it. Hope, then, is the function of struggle. It is the realization of our limitations and of our lack of agency or the inability for us to save ourselves and the ones we love. This kind of hope is not a wish list sent to Santa Claus. Advent hope is gritty. It shirks all false optimism. It is hope as protest, hope in the face of impossibilities. As writer Barbara Brown Taylor said, whether it is a seed in the ground, a baby in the womb, or Jesus in the tomb, it starts in the dark. As we wait expectantly for God to break into our world, into our communities, into our lives, may we have the eyes to see, soft hearts toward others, and open hands to what God has for us now, trusting that something new is going to break forth amid this Advent darkness.